This is Pat Soundbytes Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, host of Pat Soundbytes Unplugged podcast. Super day today. It is Thursday, and that means podcast day. We're going to make them on Tuesdays and Thursdays as much as I can. And today, episode 94 is a juicy one. It's a good one. It's a man with a powerhouse voice. Oh, my goodness. Great to have him back. Great to chat with him once again. You know him. Well, what band can we start with? How about, well, he does the West Coast of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is great news about them because they got a live stream coming up on December 18th that was just announced today, and today is Thursday, October 22nd. So check that out. He's in the band W.E.T, if you know anything about that. He's in the band Sons of Apollo. He's in his own band called Soto. Yeah, I'm talking about the cool cat, one of the nicest guys around, one of the most sought after vocalists on many albums, backgrounds, lead, whatever. Been doing this for over 35 years. I remember when he first started, Talisman, and even before that. Yeah, got to talk to Jeff Scott Soto, episode number 94 today. Jeff releasing his 7th solo album, Wide Awake in My Dreamland, Frontier Records, that he's had a great relationship with, and this album rocks. I mean, it's a great album. Tracks of Love's Blind and Without You, and I think my favorite might be Between the Lines. It's available right now where you get your music on all the digital streaming sites and platforms, so go get that. As I mentioned, TSO news today. Again, live stream event for December 18th, Christmas Eve, and other stories. Oh my goodness, boy, could we use that after the year we're having. New W.E.T album soon to come out, officially released on January 22nd of next year. It's entitled Retransmission. As Jeff says, it's all the original lineup. So that's cool. The first single should be coming out in November. And sadly, the Sons of Apollo, which I got to see in February, they had a couple more shows in the States. And then they actually, as Jeff said, they started touring in Europe right when this virus hit. And they were smart enough to say, okay, time to wrap it up and let's get out of here. So really good chat with Jeff. Love that guy. Real cool guy. Been around forever, and there is not one person that does not like Jeff Scott Soto. So please check it out. Go out and get it today. Go out and get ready to buy the pre-orders for the W.E.T album, and keep an eye on Sons of Apollo. Jeff always busy, got a couple things going on. He's actually working on 2 videos, he said, today. And TSO, man, thank God for TSO. Okay, as I always say, thank you for following me. Please subscribe on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe on my podcast, as many of you are worldwide. I can't thank you enough. My IGTV on my Instagram when I do the Zooms. Check that out as always. And I always leave you with live, love, and laugh a lot, because life, folks, is just way too short. Enjoy my chat with Mr. Jeff Scott Soto.
This is Jeff Scott Soto from Sons of Apollo and Soto. You are listening to Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Turn this second up.
WBXO Classic Rock redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbytes Unplugged podcast. Such an honor to have an amazing rock powerhouse vocalist who sings and delivers it with such incredible energy as a return guest today. He has more than probably close to 100 albums under his resume, along with numerous collaborations and recordings. He has established himself as a well-respected professional in the music business. He manages to expertly deliver his amazing vocal performances across multiple musical genres. Glad to have back on our line our friend Mr. Jeff Scott Soto. What's going on, man?
Jeez, with an intro like that, I'm out of here.
Come on, man. New York loves Jeff Scott Soto. Come on.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for that. That means a lot, truly.
I had the pleasure of meeting you at one of my last shows of this year, February 6th, the Gramercy Theater, Sons of Apollo. You guys killed it. Got to meet you and Bumblefoot. You were so nice of your time and gracious, and what a terrific show. So, and then before you know it, a week later, that was pretty much it, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was actually, it was a little longer for us because we actually had already flown out to Europe to start the European leg. And it wasn't quite hitting yet. It was when we actually arrived that we realized it was becoming an international problem. And even before we did our second show, we were already informed that we might have to postpone the dates in certain territories because they were starting to get hit, and we started even seeing our friends starting to get it or starting to cancel tours, and we were like, you know what? I think we better do the right thing. We don't want to be stuck in some army hospital somewhere or not even be able to get back into the country because we had to be quarantined somewhere. So we pulled the plug, and it surely was the right thing to do.
Man, what a crazy time we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But glad that
I think the crazier part is looking back. None of us could have foreseen that it was going to last this long. Number one, but number two, I mean, I literally I'm shooting a video today. I'm shooting 2 videos today. I had to go get my kind of stage clothes, things that I use for videos and photos upstairs, and I just fell over a pile of my stage clothes that are still on the floor because I plan on just unpacking quickly, and I'll leave them there because I don't want to do the full repack, and I could just drop them all back into a bag. Literally, not 8 months later, they're still sitting there waiting to be repacked, and I realize I think I better put these things away. I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. But we are promoting Jeff's 7th solo album titled Wide Awake in Dreamland. I love it. It's off of Frontier Records. Officially releases on November 6th, a couple of days from your birthday. Happy early birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
11 original tracks as well as 11 bonus live tracks that were recorded from the 2019 Live at Frontier Rock Festival, and that is all cool. So first, always thank you for your time, my friend, and I pray and hope that you and your family are currently safe from this crazy virus and everybody's doing well for the most part, besides your stage clothes on the floor.
we're knock on wood, we're well, and we've done well, and we've just adhered to all the science and the things that even common sense. I mean, in general, you can be given all the information, but it's always best to use common sense over the information that you're given, just because it's respectful to others, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, we're good, and I'm so proud of this record. It's unfortunate that I can't follow up with live dates, etc. But to be honest with you, the fact that we were supposed to originally release this in July, and I got it moved to November, was a great thing because I was able to revisit. We were kind of in a bit of a huff to get my vocals done because I had such a small window of time between the Trans-Siberian Orchestra tour and the Sons of Apollo tour. So I kind of rushed getting my stuff done, and the fact that the world shut down, I was able to kind of revisit and fix a few things that would have really bothered me if I had to leave it.
No, you smoked it out of the park, and thank you for doing the videos. So it saves me a lot from asking you a million questions that you probably get hit up on every interview about the album. You look on the videos, you just show you can see your enthusiasm and excitement of how important this album really came across and how well it did. I've been playing, my theme of my radio show is keeping new music alive. And I've been playing Love Blind and the killer track Without You the minute I was able to get a copy of it and reach out for you. So, and great feedback from my audience here in New York and obviously also on the internet throughout the country. Obviously, Jeff, you have a great relationship with the folks at Frontier. What's the decision behind them, saying, okay, it may be time for another solo album, or, you want to do something here? How does that all work, Jeff?
Well, I get so busy, I forget the timing of how far apart certain records are, certain things that I've released. So obviously that's where they stepped up, and they reminded me that in 2019 it was already 2 years since my last solo record. In 2020 it'll be 3 years, and we try to space them out enough that they don't make. I'm not just releasing them just to release them. I don't have to release a solo record every year, especially because I'm so busy with other factors. But that being said, it's important for Frontiers to kind of keep my branding and my kind of regular movement in terms of my solo career with them, because we spent almost 20 years building it over there. So they reminded me it's time to start thinking about it. And on the same conversation, they asked me what I feel about working with Alessandro, which I thought was a brilliant idea, because he's been working his way up the ladder and proves in terms of proving himself as a valid songwriter, a great producer, great engineer, singer. I mean, he's everything. He truly is a force of nature. So to be able to work with him and even to entrust him with writing the music and the composition so I can write my melodies and lyrics over was a huge factor in who I would work with on this record.
I'm happy you mentioned that, because that's my next line is, this guy, does he get enough credit for all his talents, Jeff? I mean, what an amazing writer, producer, musician. I mean, I'm like, this guy is insane, but I don't know if he gets enough credit for everything that he does.
He's getting there. It's the producer's usually the last one to get the credit. It's the artists that get all the glory, but they don't realize how important a great producer and somebody who's really hands-on with the songs, with the approach, with the mixes, all of those things is so important. So I emphasize greatly on the importance of having somebody like Alessandro on board, and I make sure that I give him as much credit as anybody would give me for putting out a great record. These albums are like my children. I put them out there, and I hope that they grow up to be. I hope they grow up to make me proud.
No, they're making you proud, brother. You're making a lot of fans proud. And when I listen, go ahead, pal.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's, in general, we want to be loved and appreciated, and we want to also have longevity, and making great records is important, so we can have all of the above.
Absolutely. And when I listen to this album, it brings me back to a lot of Talisman. I mean, I'll Be Waiting, Just Between You, and I know you touch upon it in your videos, that there's a lot of songs that could have fit in that band as well. Is there a coincidence to have that sound and vibe into this album, or is it just the way it came out?
Well, Alessandro's approach to this record is, and he told me later, if he told me sooner, I might have been a little worried about using this approach, but he told me after the fact, after he'd given me so many great songs, that his approach to making the songs on this record were all about taking the best things that he loves about my career and my voice, and that included Talisman. He was a huge Talisman fan, and he wanted to emphasize on what Talisman not only meant to him, but also means to me and my fans. And that's why there are so many references and kind of stylistically, there's so many nods and leanings towards Talisman.
No doubt about it. I think, every time I play it, I get another, man, I like this one better. I've been falling in love with Between the Lines, honestly. I really got a really good feel for that song, and I love. I want to add that to our rotation and start playing that for the folks out there once November 6th comes up and about. But no, great job, great song, and you kind of. I was going to ask you about your songwriting process. So Alessandro kind of writes all the music, and then you add the lyrics. Is pretty much the process. He
writes all the music, and he sends me basically an open canvas to. And when I'm writing lyrics, I listen to a song. The first time I hear it, it automatically dictates to me what it will be about. A song will give you the mood, the vibe, and obviously the theme of where it should go lyrically, and of course even melodically. When you're writing your melodies, it's important to know what kind of words you're going to put behind those melodies and make them as strong as possible.
Absolutely. Without you, the video, I think last I looked before, over 158,000 views, and I think it's only been a week. And you mentioned in the videos that it was certainly the masterpiece and brings you back into the 70s music. And what a beautiful track, man. That track is great.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and you know what? It's amazing because you're biased. You're so close to your own material, and you have a feeling and a vibe that your own material gives you. And for me to go on record before anybody's even heard it to say I think it's one of the strongest or epic tracks of my entire career. You're supposed to say that when you're proud of your own things, but to read others saying that is truly a testament and a validation that everything I felt about this record, even the choice of using that song as the one that's going to be for the video, it truly validates how I feel about the material to actually read that from others saying it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's probably no better other feeling than you're on the stage and you're looking back and seeing fans like myself singing the songs back to you, and you go, okay, this worked. This was like...
There's no greater feeling. I mean, it rivals that same feeling of listening to one of your songs on the radio for the first time. It's that energy that comes from something you don't expect. You look at it really, I'm getting chills now even thinking about it. There's so many times I've been on a stage and you hear the crowd singing your words back to you, your melodies back to you, and without you even asking them, it truly is a validation of an artist overall.
That has got to be the best of the best, man, no doubt. You have had an outstanding, 35 plus years and still going strong. Is it important for you, Jeff, to continue to grow and evolve? I mean, do you get that excitement of being part of a handful of different bands, like the Sons of Apollo or W.E.T or TSO or Soto? Is it, you get that excitement that like, wow, today I'm going to jump into this, or tomorrow I'm going to jump into that? Is that where, do you get a lot of that?
I wouldn't do this anymore if that still wasn't a factor of what I get to do. I'm so lucky and humbled that I get to do this for a living still. After all these decades, that there's still people out there that are still listening or still giving me a chance to do what I love and come so naturally to me as my career. I mean, I couldn't be more stoked about all those little facets and parts to my life that I get to just live out every year. It truly is a dream come true.
I mean, you look back and go, is this really happening? And now, 30-something years later, you go...
Hence the title of the new album. Is this a dream? Is this really happening? Or am I wide awake and living some kind of dream? Or is this something I'm going to wake up from? It's exactly what this record is reflective of.
I love the album cover. It looks like you were definitely in a dream, and then a tornado came in, and it was pretty explosive. Is it important to you that it kind of reflects something of what the content of the music is inside?
On this particular one, yes. Certain album titles don't necessarily have to reflect the cover or the artwork. On this one, I absolutely wanted something that looked a bit like some kind of crazy dreamscape, Tim Burton freakish kind of. You have crazy things that happen to you in the course of a dream that would never be able to happen in real life. There's sometimes you dream you can fly or you can walk on water, and so I wanted something to reflect the actual title of the record. Yes, as far as the cover was concerned.
That looks great, and it's funny how you said that. I know if I eat ice cream late at night, I'm going to get into a dream. And I try, I consciously, crazy me, you know, you'll be talking to somebody, maybe a business meeting or something, you say, hey, give me your business card. I try to grab the card and bring it back, and then you wake up, go, yeah, it's all
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you shared some news today before we get on the line. TSO, I mean, finally, boy, can we use this. Live stream on Friday, December 18th. Boy, did that put a ton of smiles when I posted it, and 1 million shares. Boy, do we need that more than ever, Jeff.
Oh, man, it was one of the hardest secrets to keep, but, you know, as TSO, they did everything in their power for us to actually do the tour. When they knew that wasn't going to be a reality, they put their minds up and they started spinning the ideas of how they can make a live stream work to the point where it doesn't compromise the show, the visual, the overall feeling that you get going to a TSO show. This had to have all of those elements, otherwise it would flop. It wouldn't be a great idea. And from what I hear we're doing, it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be, and more importantly, TSO is it's kind of an offering of hope. It gives you that hope that things are just going to be okay in the end. And, I mean, how do we not need that more than anything right now?
Oh, my goodness, Jeff. Every time I walk out of a TSO show, I look at my wife and everybody's got a smile on their face. It's December 18th, Friday, Christmas Eve, and other stories. And if you've never been to a TSO show, you have no idea of what you're missing. And more exciting, Jeff, news is... the band W.E.T. has announced going to be releasing an album, Retransmission, January 22nd, with a single to come out soon. With the original lineup, is that Eric and Robert and yourself? And am I missing anybody?
Well, it's everybody that's been involved since the beginning, and basically everybody that was on stage at the live in Stockholm thing that we released. That's what we consider the original lineup, because for all intents and purposes, W.E.T. is Eric, myself, and Robert.
Right.
But because Max has been with us since the very beginning as a lead guitar player, you know, he's involved, and Andreas is our bass player ever since we've been doing the live stuff. This is the lineup. And Robin on drums. This is the lineup that we've started with this, and this is the lineup we're going to keep with it.
Man, I'm looking forward to hearing that, man. I can't wait to blast that out. And like I said, when we first started, I got to hang out with you guys after the great Sons of Apollo show, and it was cool to see you guys do that video, you, Mike, and Ron, Nowhere, man. That was really cool, the 3-part harmony. Is that something that you guys work on all the time, you know, just to warm up? I know, obviously, vocals is your main instrument.
It was more something we kind of, because we all know these songs so well, and we're all very capable in kind of finding a harmony on the fly without saying, hey, you sing this part, you sing that part. When somebody sings their part, Ron and I, like if Mike's singing a part, Ron and I will look at each other, and he'll naturally go for the higher one. And then if there's not even a third one, I'll find a third one, because it's just, I love singing harmony. I always find a third note that would fit in there. And that particular song is no exception. You know, it's based off a 3-part harmony, and we used to goof around, not goof, but just sing along to it just randomly on tour. And so that's why we decided to, all these quarantine videos that were going out, we decided, hey, let's do a version of that out there, because it's just so much fun to do.
You know, it just puts a smile on everybody's face when you see something pop up, and
it puts the same smile on my face doing it.
You know, it's like a double-edged sword in the beginning of this whole thing. People are like, well, I don't know if I should release the album because, you know, I can't support it. But, you know, I'm a guy keeping new music alive. I'm always looking for music to put on. That's my whole show, is like anybody can play the tracks, but nobody's playing the new music. And I get people calling me all the time going, who's that? What's that? And I say to you, and I say to every artist, you know what? You know, this is a great time to put out, because if people were back at work and stuff like that, a lot of it might get lost in the shuffle if we were back at our norm. So it's a great time. How did you make out with you? I saw you did a Masterclass in July. Any plans on doing that again? How cool is that to spend with inspiring vocalists and provide like tips of warm-ups and stamina and breathing techniques?
Well, the Masterclass idea is basically a replacement, or a temporary replacement, for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, who I've done quite a few stints with. And since they can't do in-person rock and roll fantasy camps, or basically they get their campers to experience their own personal masterclass. Because even part of the when I do those camps, we do have a day where I'm going to do like a workshop, and basically the workshop is exactly what I did at the online workshop is exactly what I would do at the camp workshop. So it's great that we have these outlets to stay connected to people who don't want to miss a beat. You know, we don't want we might have a year off of being able to do the things we love, but we don't want a year off of doing all the things that get us there.
Right. Could you imagine, Jeff? We're pretty much almost the same age. I got a couple years above you, but you don't know. Could you imagine having YouTube 20, 30 years ago where people could really learn, play guitar, or, you know, have a chance to talk with you or, you know, Bumblefoot or whoever? I mean, the technology out there is insane anymore.
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, there's so many factors that have come with social media, that's come with I mean, even what I'm doing, Alessandro and I wrote an entire record for a new project called Spectra, which is two members from the band Soto. And these guys have been with me for so long, and I wanted an outlet for the singer BJ, who's basically in Soto playing guitar and playing keyboards, but he's an incredible singer. I wanted to give him a platform to finally be heard around the world with his incredible voice. So even having all the social media, or even having somebody to kind of oversee and help you and pull strings for you, that's something I've always wished to be able to utilize whatever celebrity I can muster up and actually pay it forward someday. And so, yeah, those tools, like you were just saying, would have been so important to us. We would have found a whole new way of doing it. But to be honest with you, I would not give up the experience that I was able to get from kind of the last version of the reality of the music business. When we were releasing albums, we had real budgets and recording in real studios. That experience I wouldn't give away for the world, where it's a lot of new acts are not going to have that experience because the budgets aren't there, the sales aren't there, and even the labels aren't there anymore.
Gotcha. Well, makes a lot of sense, but I applaud you for doing what you're doing, and you said an important thing that everybody needs to understand and try to pay it forward and be kind, and you know, we got to change things around with the world that we live in anymore. Jeff, I can't thank you enough for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, certainly as much as I have again.
Absolutely, man. I love your enthusiasm. I love your knowledge of my music and my past. And even the most important thing, I love the fact that you're willing to throw out and give new music a chance. Because as you said, most of these playlists out there are just catalog stuff, and it's really difficult to get the new stuff heard. And thank God for people like you.
Well, I'll share with you before I let you go, which I didn't tell you, I think, in February. But I've been doing a thing called 5 for It All. So I meet you before a show or after the show. You got a new album out like you do right here with Wide Awake in My Dreamland, and you roll 5 dice, and if you roll a 5 of a kind, totaling in 3 rolls, I play your whole entire album on my show. So in 2 years, I've had one rocker, Jesse Triplett from Collective Soul, needed 3 4s on the last roll. We were in Jersey at a theater after a show, and you thought we won, you know, the Stanley Cup, the Super Bowl, the NBA champions, and we're jumping up and down, champagne flying. And then I met the guys in Long Island, and I gave Jesse a gold record in the shadow box, being the first. So once we get you back on the road, I'm going to hunt you down, my man, and we're going to get you to roll the dice. And I want to play the whole album for all my listeners, because I think it's important, and I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, and blessed to have an opportunity to meet and talk with great artists like yourself. Please go to Jeff's social, Jeff Soto, obviously on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on all the socials, and please go out and buy the album and check it out. You will not be disappointed. Jeff, again, my man, thank you so much for your time. And
my pleasure.
Please be safe and well. And we can't wait to rock with you in 2021.
Awesome, my brother. You be safe, and all the best. And I hope to see you as soon as we can roll that dice together.
It doesn't get any better than this. WBXO Classic Rock Redefined and Pat Soundbytes Unplugged with the one and only, the amazing Mr. Jeff Scott Soto.
Woo!